will run, I will climb, I will soar. I'm undefeated, oh. Jumping out of my skin, pull the cord. Yeah, I believe it. Oh, the past is everything.
Hello, welcome. Have you wondered what to do about phones and internet while you're traveling? How are you going to manage all that? We need our cell phones and data while traveling for navigation, translation, currency converters, and just to stay connected to family and friends. It gets really important for us while we're traveling to have data and a cell phone at our ready. So here are 5 tips for phones and data while traveling. Tip number 1 is make sure your phone is unlocked for international countries. So just because you can use your phone in any state within the US or within any province within Canada doesn't necessarily mean that it's unlocked for international travel. I've had people come and they tell me, yeah, my phone's unlocked. I've used it in all different states in the States. But then they get to this new country and they put the SIM card in and it's not working. It means their phone isn't unlocked for international travel. So make sure that you either go to your carrier or go to one of those phone kiosks and ask them to check that your phone is unlocked for international use. Because if it's not unlocked, you're likely going to have to pay close to $100 to get it unlocked. And a lot of times, if you're in another country and they realize that you're not from there, they'll try and get even more money out of you for unlocking your phone. So it's a good idea to make sure that your phone is unlocked before you head out. Tip number 2 is wherever you go. So for me, every time I go to a new country, I buy a new SIM card and put it in my phone. So one thing to remember though is when you go to get that new SIM card, make sure that whoever's helping you with that sets it up for you. So I bought a SIM card in France at this tobacco shop. It was the only place that sold them in the area that I was. And the guy said, do you need help setting it up? And I was like, no. And I don't know why I thought, because it had never been that way before, but I assumed for some reason that I would put the chip in and it would just work, but it didn't work that way. I needed to put in my name, an address, an email address. They needed a whole bunch of information. And so when I left the shop, now I have a SIM card in my phone, but it's not working. And so I have no access to Google Translate. I have no access to navigation. I have no access to currency converters. And I also can't make any calls. So that meant that, so part of the deal was I was staying with a friend and she had to work that day. So I was going to get SIM card, and then at the end of the day I was going to call her. She was going to come pick me up. Well, I didn't have a SIM card. I had a SIM card, but it wasn't working, so I wasn't able to call her, and I wasn't able to do Google Translate or anything like that, and I didn't speak any French, so it made it very difficult. So make sure that whoever sells you the SIM card helps you set it up. And most places will do the setup for you. And make sure it's working before you leave the kiosk. So go in your phone, shut off Wi-Fi. If they've connected you to their Wi-Fi, shut that off and make sure that your phone is working. Ask them for their local number, make a call quickly, check whether it be a bank balance or whatever, use the internet to make sure that it's working. Tip number 3 is to save your local number in your phone. So while I'm traveling, my phone quite often has my number Guatemala, my number US, my number Canada, my number, has a whole bunch. And that's okay. I can delete them later, but I don't always memorize my number. And so that helps because lots of times I'll go places and they'll say, "What's your number?" I don't know, but I can look on my phone and show them or tell them. So saving your number into your phone is pretty important. Tip number 4 is to put a reminder into your phone on your calendar for when you need to buy a new top-up. So a lot of these SIM cards while you're traveling will be pay-as-you-go because you don't really want to get a contract, and especially if you don't plan on being there for longer term. Like if you only plan on being in the country for 3 months, there's not any point in getting a contract because most of those contracts are a year or more. So getting prepaid is good, but you have to remember when you need to top up because there's nothing worse than you're out in the city and you need to do a Google Translate or you need to figure out a currency conversion. You go to do it and there is no internet because your data's run out. So I put a reminder into my phone. When I was in Mexico, we had a really great deal. It was like $15, I think, for a month. And I got unlimited calling to Canada, US, and Mexico, and texting as well, and I got unlimited data. But it only lasted for 28 days. So when I got my top up, I would go in my calendar, count out 28 days, and then put a reminder in for myself to buy a new top up, either that day or the day before. And number 5 is to set up WhatsApp before you go. So a lot of countries in Asia, in Latin America, all over use WhatsApp. And it's really handy for me because in a lot of countries, especially if you don't speak the language, it's really difficult to call a company and try to order a pizza or whatever. But a lot of companies now offer WhatsApp. So you can go to Google Translate, type out what you want, and then put the conversion into your WhatsApp, send it, and then they'll send you a reply. I've ordered pizza that way. I've ordered groceries that way. I've negotiated with a housekeeper that way. There's just so many uses for it. You can also keep in contact with your family and friends back home. You can have like a group chat, and then so you have your mom, your dad, great Aunt Matilda, your brother, your whoever. And then so you can, instead of messaging everyone or calling everyone, you can do a quick thing, like a quick text, or you can even do voice message. Hey, we made it. We're here. We're doing okay. We're just getting settled in. As soon as we're settled, I'll give you a call, or I'll send another message. It just makes everybody feel safer and happy. Everybody's worried about you when you're gone. So setting up WhatsApp before you leave is a really good idea, especially if you're going to be going to a bunch of different countries. So while I was in Europe and England, I had WhatsApp on my phone set up through a Dominican number, and in fact it's still set up on my phone through that Dominican number. And then every time I put in a new SIM card, it would ask me if I wanted to update my WhatsApp, and I would just say no. And then so I still had my same WhatsApp and and your contacts go through your phone anyway, but it was just handy to be able to use that as well. So I could, message people, or I could communicate with businesses if need be. A lot of businesses, not so much in Europe, but especially in Asia and Latin America, use WhatsApp. So that helped out a lot. So once again, my 5 tips for managing your phone and data while you're traveling are: make sure your phone is unlocked for international travel. That's very important. Ask the seller, whoever sells you the SIM card, to help you install it on your phone and make sure it's working before you leave the kiosk or wherever you're buying it from. Number 3 is to save your local number in your phone. Number 4 is to put a reminder on your phone for when you need to do another top up. And number 5 is to set up WhatsApp before you leave. I hope these are helpful for you and make your traveling much easier. If you have any helpful hints or tricks to managing your phones and data while you're traveling, please leave me a comment. I'd really love to see them. See you next time.